Welcome back. 5 women alongside 2 OB-GYNs are now suing Texas over the state's abortion laws. The lawsuit filed by the Center for Reproductive Rights argues the women were denied necessary and potentially life-saving care because medical professionals throughout the state fear liability under Texas's abortion bans. The lawsuit seeks to clarify the state's law. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor spoke to one of the plaintiffs who says delayed abortion care threatened her life after she was told her baby would not survive.
She said pretty quickly, all in one breath, you're going to lose the baby. She's not going to survive. I thought what they would do is go in and intervene immediately, but she told me that they couldn't because the baby's heart was still beating and I wasn't sick.
Laws in Texas ban doctors from performing abortions except when a medical emergency endangers a person's life or major bodily function. Those who violate the law could face up to life in prison.
Because of the law, I very nearly died. Nothing about this is pro-life.
But John Segal, president of Texas Right to Life, who helped craft the Texas Heartbeat Act, says the law is clear as written and that doctors like Amanda's are misinterpreting it.
If they are saying they have to delay and wait the days like you're talking about, that is medical malpractice. But if it is uncertain that this child may survive or may not, Texas is saying we don't jump to conclusions.
Doctors are saying the law is not clear, and as a result, I'm going to act on the side of being cautious, and that means that I might have to wait for a woman to get sicker and sicker before I can perform an abortion that I know she needs.
And that's the wrong conclusion.
Nancy Northup is the president of the Center for Reproductive Rights.
The issue here is not that the doctors are being too cautious. The reality is, without clarification of this Texas law, without a change in the circumstances that are happening today, it is going to come that women are going to die.
In response to the lawsuit, the Texas Attorney General's office said he'll, quote, continue to defend and enforce the laws duly enacted by the Texas legislature. This suit comes as we wait for a ruling by a federal judge in another Texas lawsuit over medication abortion that could pull a common abortion pill off the shelves nationwide. Joining me now is Dr. Bhavik Kumar, a Texas-based abortion provider and co-chair of the Committee to Protect Healthcare's Reproductive Freedom Task Force. Also with me, Liz Sepper, professor of law at the University of Texas. Dr. Kumar, I want to start with you, and thanks to both of you for being here. Can you just react for us to what we have just heard from the plaintiff, Amanda is her name, talking about the fact that she was told her baby would not survive, and yet she couldn't immediately get the care that she says she needed to save her life, and her health was put at risk?
Absolutely. It's very difficult to hear that story. And unfortunately, in Texas, it's a very common story that we hear from people. What we see in Texas is that when politicians decide to tell us how to practice medicine, when they have punishments such as the one in the Texas ban where we could potentially go to jail for life, it becomes very difficult for us to have conversations with our patients to give them the options that they deserve. And they are suffering the consequences of that. And that story is something that I've heard from other patients as well, and it's really, really unfortunate, and it's really avoidable.
And Liz Sepper, can I have you respond as well to hearing what was really difficult, I think, to learn, that this woman's life was put at risk. She could not get the care that she says she needs. She said that she almost died. She almost didn't survive this.
These stories are the tip of the iceberg, and it's because Texas's abortion law is draconian, but it also lacks some clarity. There are provisions that contradict one another. There is an exception for life-saving care that uses terms like serious risk of substantial impairment to a major bodily function without any definitions. These are not medical terms. Physicians just don't know what they mean. When, in good faith, can they act to save someone's life and health?
In this case, Dr. Kumar, obviously Amanda was here to tell her story. That's why she's a plaintiff in this case. But are you learning about cases in which women are not as lucky because they're not getting the care that they need?
Absolutely, and I commend the plaintiffs in this case for coming forward. It takes a lot of bravery to be able to do so, but there are a lot of people that don't have that ability to do so, whether they're experiencing a complication in a wanted pregnancy, a complication in an ectopic pregnancy, or an inability to access care, or if they're having a miscarriage and just not able to get the care that they need. So these, again, stories are very common in Texas and in other states where abortion is banned, and it's really just another example of politicians interfering in my ability as a physician to provide health care to people.
Dr. Kumar, what do you believe the national implications are for what is happening in Texas right now?
Yeah, what happens in Texas doesn't stay in Texas. Right now, there are 18 states that have some form of an abortion ban in play. And what we know is that when we ban abortion, it doesn't stop the need of it. It also affects other care, such as miscarriage care and complications that can happen in pregnancy. So we're really seeing this chilling effect and this chaos effect as people are trying to travel to other states. They're not getting information from their healthcare providers, as we heard from Amanda, and they're left with confusion. They're left with questions and trying to navigate the healthcare system the best that they can. We also know that many people aren't able to access the care that they need, and as we heard, people are suffering in the consequences of that.
And Liz Sepper, how do you see the national implications here, particularly to this idea? Do you worry that it's having a chilling effect on women's health and the ability to treat the range of complications that can arise during a pregnancy?
Yes, so we're seeing doctors who feel that their speech is chilled. They're not even willing to say the A word to their patients or give referral or information. This obviously affects all kinds of care. But we're also hearing stories about oncology, about MRI and the like, where doctors just aren't acting as they usually would because they're concerned that they may be creating risks for fetuses or for potential pregnancies that could subject them to liability under SB 8 or Texas's criminal laws.
Dr. Kumar, I want to talk to you about the medication abortion case out of Texas. And we know that an anti-abortion group that is bringing the suit has argued that it's unsafe and that the approval process was unlawful. Does the science back that up?
Absolutely not. We know that mifepristone, one of the two medications used in a medication abortion, is extremely safe. It's been FDA approved in this country for over 20 years. There have been 5 million people that have used this medication safely. It's a medication that I've provided to thousands of people. I often say when I'm providing that medication that you're probably not going to feel anything different today. You can go home, you can do whatever you need to. There are very few side effects, if any, and it is very safe and effective for people to use. We know that this group that's bringing the lawsuit forward was created right after the Dobbs decision, and it seems as if they've cherry-picked which court and which judge they would bring this case forward in. And it's really part of this effort to ban abortion. Even with Roe overturned, they're continuing to target anything that people might try to access to have an abortion.
And we know that there is a second abortion drug, the misoprostol, I believe. Please correct me if I'm not pronouncing that accurately. It can be used on its own, but why is the two-drug regimen preferred? Why do you think that that's critical?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Misoprostol can be used safely alone, and many people choose that option, especially in other countries. But we also know that when used with mifepristone, it is safer and more effective, and people have a better experience, which is exactly what I would want for my patients.
And Liz Sepper, what do you make of this case about trying to ban the medication abortion? And what do you think the broader implications of this may be? Will it have a chilling effect, for example, on distributors like Walgreens?
So this lawsuit is filed in Texas, but it's a national lawsuit, right? It's about the availability of mifepristone across the entire country, California, New York, Rhode Island, and so on. So if the plaintiffs were to prevail here and win what they want, which is to have the FDA suspend or withdraw their 20-year-long approval of mifepristone, then what would happen is that it's likely the drug would become unavailable nationwide. So very serious impacts across the board. Walgreens has recently said that they will provide medication abortion with a prescription from a physician, but then stepped that back out of concern from a letter sent from 20 attorney generals suggesting that Walgreens could face criminal consequences if they were willing to distribute the drug consistent with federal law.
And Liz, just very quickly, what routes does the federal government have to appeal if, in fact, the judge does approve this injunction?
If the judge sided with the plaintiffs, the federal government would presumably appeal to the Fifth Circuit and could go on from there to the Supreme Court.
Okay, well, we will watch all of this very closely. Dr. Kumar and Professor Sepper, we really appreciate your time. We appreciate your insights. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.